This is not my environment to be. So that's why the decision to move from Poland to Spain. But was not easy decision to tell my family and my friends. So I took another very risky decision, not to tell anybody.
Oh, wow. So you literally just got up and left?
I left a little letter. I was just writing this letter, like literally in a few seconds, left it, pick up my stuff, and I left.
Something leapt inside of you that thought, I've had enough. I'm going to just pack my bags and go and just leave a note. From cleaning rooms to now running this absolutely incredible hotel. That's mind-blowing. Reflecting back on this conversation, because I think it's the first time you've really told this story, what can you hear in this for you? I'm sitting in the most beautiful, authentic Spanish hotel. We're sitting in the Amanhavis Hotel in Benahavis. But Margo, you're not Spanish.
I came 20 years ago to Spain from very cold and very kind of country which was never my place to be. Although I love my country, of course, but I came from Poland. I moved from Poland, and I moved from mainly the same reason, like many women, is trying to change their life, and it was love. It was a man who I fall in love to, and that was the main reason to come here. I just follow him, and I decided to start my journey in Spain. So I came from little countryside very close to Warsaw and landed in Estepona 20 years ago, which I'm going to have anniversary literally a few weeks time. And my story started quite easily because my plan was just to live life. And in one moment I said, maybe that will be the good start to search for work somewhere. And like you found out this hotel, I found out this hotel 19 years ago. When one of my friends was trying to help the previous owner of this place to find the chambermaid, cleaning lady. So I said, I have to start from somewhere, and that was the moment when I had the interview, and my story started literally from cleaning the rooms in this hotel.
So were there many Polish people that came over here at that time? Because you said a friend of yours was helping the owner. How did she know the owner?
That was actually one of the, I think the guy was from Czech Republic at this point. I don't remember exactly. It was not so many Polish people like we have now on the coast. So it was less our kind of common person who'd been doing a bit of maintenance here in the hotel, and knew my boyfriend at this point and this time. So that's why he connected me with the owner, and then we started to. Well, I had just simple interview. It was simple. He needed somebody to work. I needed work, so we just connected, and I started to work here.
And your boyfriend is from there, or is from here?
He was Polish. I'm using the past because he, unfortunately, he had some issues, health issues, and he died a few years ago.
I'm sorry.
And thank him, I started my adventure here in Spain.
So how old were you when you came here?
I don't mind to say my age. That was, I think, when I finished my studies, and I was 28 at this time.
So you were 28, living in Warsaw, in Poland. And what was life like for you in Poland?
My life in general in Poland, I was always working. I was always working, like literally from when I was 17 years old. And I'm this kind of person who like to be active on every type of level of life and activities. So yeah, when I finished my studies with my high school, then I started to work. Then I started my studies, and so yeah, and I've always been a very, very active person. So working, having fun. Obviously, when I was younger, that's part of life.
Yeah.
A big part of my life was my studies, and at the same time I was working. So it was all about working, studying, and live life.
When you were younger, what were your dreams and aspirations?
I always wanted to work in business when I'm connected with people. When I have connection and interaction with people. I did few of my jobs have been actually like a typical administration paperwork, and I knew from the beginning that this is not my type of work. So yeah, the last work before I moved to Spain was actually working in one of the shops selling phones, selling like mobile phones. And that was the type of the job which I loved. And I knew from that point that this is something which I would love to do. I'm not telling that I wanted to sell phones, but it was more about interacting with people and having direct contact with people and giving them the product which they wanted to have. So simple as that. So when I came to Spain and I found this job, of course, cleaning the rooms is not the dream job for anybody. But I decided I have to start from somewhere. So that's why that was my first stage of this job here and this experience in this hotel.
Remember to subscribe or follow so you never miss another episode just like this. You talk very, very kind of casually about, well, I've moved to Spain. I was 28 years old. I followed a sweetheart to come over here. That's a big thing. That's a big decision to make. I'm sure you've got family back in Poland. Talk to me about your kind of family life and what it was like growing up there.
It was my life was always very because from the beginning when I was really young, I had a very nice childhood, but when you're living in such a small city, when I used to live, because I used to live on the side of Warsaw, it was like a little countryside. In one point, you're not feeling filled, you're not feeling satisfied about your life, and in certain stages, I felt like this, that this is not my place to be, this is not my environment to be. So that's why the decision to move from Poland to Spain was kind of easy decision, but was not easy decision to tell my family and my friends. So I took another very risky decision, not to tell anybody.
Oh wow! So you literally just got up and left.
I left a little letter on the table. I know that it was really unfair towards my family. I know I have to admit, but that was the only way to do it
And
at
what
this
did
point.
you to say?
I was in such a seventh cloud at this moment that I was just writing this letter like literally in a few seconds, left it, pick up my stuff, and I left. I just put my luggage, my few things into my luggage.
When you walked out the door, was there a moment? Sometimes, I mean, you kind of see it in a movie where someone leaves a letter and sort of walks off into the sunset. What did that feel like, that moment?
Everything was just like very adventurous, because the person, this ex-boyfriend I met at this point, well, our main level of knowing each other was just calling to each other and talking on the phone. I didn't know this guy personally. I knew him, it was like probably 2 times when we met face to face. And then the rest of our relationship was more about talking on the phone. So that's why we connected this way. And because at this stage, my marriage, because I was married at this point, was not doing well.
Okay.
So it was another reason why I decided to leave Poland and move to Spain, and because of this man who completely changed my way of thinking about life. And yeah, when I'm here.
Yeah, that's an incredible part of the story.
Yes.
So I'm just going to reflect back on that. So you were married. Have you got any children?
No.
So no children, but your marriage wasn't going the way you wanted it to go. You then started having a conversation with this guy, he from Poland, but he was living here in Spain along the coast.
Exactly.
And you just kind of something flipped inside of you that thought, I've had enough. I'm going to just pack my bags and go and just leave a note.
That's the case. That was literally what I've done. So yeah, from one day to another, I left the job. So everybody been thinking, what happened with Margo? Because she was always on time. She was always very formal. My parents obviously found out, because at this point I was living with my sister in one of our apartments. So when she came from work, she found out this letter. And the whole information then went through all the levels, like to my work, to my parents. And here started the whole... of course, I lost contact with my parents at this point. They've been so disappointed with me, and they've been so angry with me. They said, yeah, we lost our daughter. But of course, that was the anger which they had at this moment. And after a few weeks, probably maybe a few months, I started to be in touch with them. And then our relationship, we had to start to build our relationship again. So, which we've done. And thankfully, we are on the stage that we're talking to each other again.
With that, I mean, that is such a strength to realize that something's not right for you. And then I know that there are lots of women who are going to be listening to this thinking, how many times have I thought of doing exactly what you've done, leaving a note and just getting up and going, because I'm done. I've just had enough in being this person who's conforming, being that organized, when inside you weren't that person. You were you were feeling and thinking all these different thoughts, and you thought, there's more to life for me now. There's much more to life.
Although this kind of decision, having such a big risk, because I didn't know the language. Obviously, I was speaking my kind of basic English at this point. I didn't speak any Spanish. I didn't know the culture. I didn't know the place where I'm going. I didn't know anything. Wow. I didn't know even if this guy is not. Well, I knew he's real, but I didn't know what is going to happen when I'm going to end up here in Spain. And thank God, this story had a happy end. Amazing. Because that could be completely different story. If I'm not sure if I would repeat this kind of risk decision at this point of my life, being 50 now. But it was much easier when I was 28, and I had this stage of my life of not being happy, and yeah.
But isn't those are the stages of our lives when we can take those risks, right? I mean, I totally hear you, and I see you, because there's often in life where, being that young, you had nothing to lose, really. You had everything to gain and nothing to lose, and I think intuitively you knew that although your parents were upset, that they would get over it because you have a strong connection with them. Yeah. No, hats off to you. Honestly, that's a fantastic part of the story. Talk me through the process of where you first started and how come you're now running the hotel. That's mind-blowing, from cleaning rooms to now running this absolutely incredible hotel. Talk me through that.
That was very easy. From that moment when I moved, that was like a hard part, to move from Poland to Spain, doing this the way which I told you before. Then it went really smoothly. Means, I started to clean the rooms, and my ex-boss at this point, he said, it's a shame that somebody who speaks English, and apparently it's very difficult to find English-speaking person. It was, at least at this point. Maybe it's different now. So he said, it's a shame that you're going to clean the rooms when I need somebody to help me in the restaurant service. So that's why I moved like after literally a few weeks from the work of chambermaid to doing a job of the waitress. So then I felt like from the first day, I remember I felt that this is my type of job, because I had to deal with people and I had to interact with them. So from day one, I knew that this is something which I would like to do. So after probably a few months, I think one of the receptionists left, and at the same stage when my boss said, yeah, your English is too good to clean the rooms, he said, for me, well, maybe it will be easier to find somebody to help me in the service, and then I would like you to run the reception for me. So of course I had to get some training, because receptionist job is very, very, very difficult in certain levels. So I met Elizabeth, who is now one of my best friends. She was my guru. She gave me all the information. She passed me all the secrets about the reception. So I learned lots from her, lots of little secrets about this job. And and after a few weeks again, I started to run the reception, to work as a receptionist. And literally last year, when I done my 18 years running the reception and working on the reception, my ex-boss, who did 25 years, so he did his 25, did my 18, he said, well, I think it's about time for me to retire, and I think you grown up enough to take over and start, and your knowledge is it's big enough to run the whole place. Because from cleaning the rooms to run the reception and to do the service in the restaurants. So that's why I think he felt comfortable to leave his baby in my hands.
To leave this legacy with you. If you are enjoying Real Women's Stories, remember to like this episode, because that means we can be discovered and I can bring you more episodes just like this. You say very casually, I was cleaning a room, and then, someone saw, I need some help. There are a lot of people who don't put that effort into their jobs. And I think it's really important to emphasize this, that life doesn't come to you. You have to go and get it. And if there's an opportunity, and sometimes I think a lot of the younger generation struggle because they don't realize that in order to get up to the top, you've got to climb the ladder. Exactly. And however hard that ladder is, but you make good. And it sounded like, to me, you've created a community. And this hotel was like, it's a 9-bedroom, if I'm right, it's a 9-bedroom boutique hotel. This is like a haven for you as well as for the guests that come here. So it's a safe, supportive space for you to potentially have dealt with that trauma, but you've been able to overcome it and get out of it. And as you say now, what it sounds like, you're in a loving relationship. You now run a hotel, and it's, to me, like a fairy tale.
It's a bit of a fairy tale. You're absolutely right, because like from the really bad experience on the private level to the point when everything like looks fairy tale. I'm running place which looks like fairy tale. It's like you said. It's like you have to climb the ladder, and there's sometimes you have to even lose a few steps of this ladder, then to climb up again, and that's what happened many times as well. But every single bad experience, that has to be strength for everybody, not to stop at this point. You always have to move step forward too. exactly to achieve something, because otherwise we always will be on the same level, and we'll be always being like on the stable level of our lives. And this is not the point. We have to, this is at least my kind of philosophy, to always go for better and make life and whatever you're doing better. So that's my purpose.
Reflecting back on this conversation, because I think it's the first time you've really told this story, what can you hear in this for you?
Yeah, I would think about this person. I would say to this person that this is something which should be, as you said before, which should be example. This kind of person should be example for any kind of women who don't know what to do with their lives. And if there is opportunity to take decisions, sometimes to take really hard decision, very risky decision, then I would tell them to go for it, and I would tell them to just to take this risk, because risk in life, sometimes you're losing, sometimes you're winning, and if you put full 100% of you in something what you're doing, then you're always going to win. So that's something which I would tell
that person. Well, would you like to hear what I would say to the person in front of me? I would say that you are a strong, resilient woman who is extremely hardworking, who doesn't give up. And I would say you should feel super proud of what you've achieved in your life from start to finish. You've trusted your intuition. You've taken risks, but at the right time in your life. And you've created community around you so that you know that you're in a safe space.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I think. You in just few words you captured everything what I was thinking to say as well.
I'd love our listeners to hear about the hotel, because obviously we're sitting in it. I've been here. Explain to me how many rooms, like, the decor. How old is the hotel?
Well, the hotel as a hotel exists 26 years already. Although the main part of the hotel, which is my reception, my kingdom, the restaurant and the patio has about 700 years. So that was a really old Moorish house, which was exchanged with a very good taste, as you could see, and a very good idea and very good concept for the hotel. So that was a base for the hotel to create the hotel. So 26 years ago, my ex boss and owner of this place, he decided he literally moved from the foreign country like I did, and he started more or less the same. He had the same idea to do something creative here. So he found this place. He started to build 9 rooms. He managed to do it really quickly, and so on the base of this really old part, the hotel part has about 26 years. The place which we're sitting is quite new compared to the rest of the hotel.
Okay.
Although looks the same, it looks very Moorish, looks very authentic. Everybody's welcome, even just to come and say hello, or just to have a drink, or whatever they need. Because I have many visitors during the day, just enjoying, a little walk in the village, and just stepping by and being impressed, like everybody is here coming to this place.
Do you not feel proud?
I definitely feel proud. I feel proud, although it takes a bit of effort, more effort than just normal job, because you have to really to have a success. You have to put many hours of your work, lots of heart, lots of energy, but that's why it makes me even more proud about doing this, because in the end of the day, hearing very positive feedback and very good reviews, that's what makes me feel proud even more. So yeah, definitely.
Wow, it's amazing. So one final question. What is the future for Margo?
Well, the future of Margo, I hope it's going to be another, I don't want to say 700 years because obviously that's not going to happen, but another 26 years of history of this place. That will be ideal for me.